that was the first song I started working on for the album. I worked.
So did it inform the tone for everything, or just it's its own piece?
Yeah, it was kind of its own thing, but it was the first thing I started working on. Called up my friend Mike Tompkins that I grew up with too.
We've had him on the show.
Nice, yeah. So
Human
you know
beatbox.
Mike, exactly. You know Mike and what he does. So I know Mike since he was like 8.
Yeah, we talked about you a lot when he was on the show. Yeah,
cool. Yeah, so Mike. So I called up Mike, and you know what he's doing now. He's doing tremendous things. So it was just great to get to work with him again. And you know how he works, just layering vocal parts. So that's that song. Almost everything in it is voice.
Was it always lights?
Lights came in a little bit later, so we had the kind of basic elements there. And yeah, I was like, you know what? I think lights would fit well with this.
Okay,
and,
so you didn't write you don't think of people, and you just kind of see who's around. That
yeah, a lot of it. A lot of it, I like to leave up to fate in that kind of way. So she actually happened.
That's where you get happy accidents.
Exactly. Yeah. So she happened to be around just that one day, and was like, yeah, I'm definitely down to come down, and so she put down her parts, and that's how that song came together. Like over a long time, and actually I think the last verse I wrote for that song is the last verse I wrote for the album. So it was like the first thing I worked on,
circle.
and the last thing I worked on.
That's
so
nice.
Again, the serendipity, I like that.
Yeah, me too. So what was the process in between? How long was that time period?
Good, like a year and a half. From the first, time working on that song, the first session demoing stuff until it was completed. Yeah.
Are you constantly writing in your phone, or how do you do it?
Yeah. So I get ideas that come to me. Like I try to wait for a lyrical idea that surprises me. That's when I feel like it's good. So whenever that comes, I write it down however I can, and usually writing happens pretty quickly after that. I find
things just flow.
Things flow, yeah, because it's just kind of like it's loosens the valve or whatever, however you want to put it. Just like that helps. So. So that's generally like where lyrics come from.
Are you someone who crosses out words consistently, or do you just let things...
Yeah, no, I'm that guy who I can't write and not edit at the same time.
So what took the most work out of this? What song went through the most revisions?
Most revisions, I don't know, maybe Fam Jam.
Okay.
Just because I wanted to get it right.
Did you just say that because you know I want to talk about it and it was a good segue for me?
No, but maybe I should work in TV or something.
Yeah.
I understand. No, that one, because there's a lot that I wanted to say, and there was like a certain amount of nuance, like I wanted it to be celebratory and joyful.
But there's some interesting lines there.
But at the same time, serious, and I wanted it to be big, but at the same time, I wanted to make sure it was personal, so it's not this just me talking, expounding on this subject, and it's like didactic and a little bit boring. I wanted people to know this is coming from a personal place. So there's a lot of things. And so I think while a lot of it came out quite naturally, I was kind of fine-tuning a lot of things just to make sure that the tone was right, because I was trying to do a lot with that song.
Yeah, well, it toes the line. I mean, the melodies are happy, the guitar riff, like I was telling you, I love. The horns are cool, but then you have this Rwandan genocide talking. Like you're taking a heavy... So how do you toe the line of doing that? Yeah,
that's where a lot of the editing comes in to kind of... Because you don't want to trick people. You don't want to be like, here, I'm giving you this sunny melody, but, I'm actually going to do this. That feels like a little heavy-handed and kind of mean-spirited, But I just wanted to do something big and something real, but at the same time retain some joyful sentiment there, you know what I mean? So that took a lot of fine-tuning, in the lyrics and in the beat that I worked on with Scratch Bastard. So
where's the guitar? Are you playing? I've seen you play guitar live before, so are you playing guitar on that?
No, that's not my guitar part. That's actually, it comes from a West African song that I used to listen to growing up. So, again, like, I wanted everything in the song to be personal and kind of close to me, so that was, like, that riff came from memory,
Last time I saw you was at Polaris, one of the highlights of my year. I'm sure, Kathleen Edwards is probably my favorite. No offense to you, but one of my favorite guests on the show because she's just hilarious, man. She's so much fun all the time. So it was like working with her that day.
Amazing. And she made my job very easy, which was good. The other thing that was great was like just watching someone who the second they step on stage, they turn on. I told her the next day, like I'd never seen someone that was that almost gifted in that way of like they just turn on. They really love the stage that much, and they understand performance. And she can just transform. Step on stage and transform. Yeah.
Are you the same way? Like, do you have? Are you a different person? That's the wrong way. Do you go into a character when you go on stage?
I think like when I'm feeling it, the music can shift my persona, and I would get into a different space totally. But the music has to be there. For her, it was just being on stage and just being like charged with entertaining people. She could do it. She didn't even need music.
That's true.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's
well,
really
you were
cool.
pretty good too. Don't sell yourself short here.
I was fine. My job was easy. Just kind of had to thank a couple sponsors and
Right. Yeah. The hosting stuff. I'm far too familiar with it.
Yeah. She took care of the heavy lifting of actually making people laugh and all that. So on both of those levels, it was really cool to work with her, and she's a tremendous musician.
One of the things I find interesting, sorry to get off that topic, about hip hop records is the way they're put together. Like I was telling you before, so does the rhyme influence the beat for you most of the time? Does the beat influence the rhyme? I'm sure it happens both, but you want to give me examples on the record?
Yeah, it happens both ways. So, the last song on the album is called Long John, and it's just this kind of loose freestyle kind of thing. And so that one, I wrote all the lyrics. It just started one of those loosen the valve things. A couple lines came to me, and suddenly I'm just writing for 3 days, just going. And that one, I got the beat afterwards. I was kind of this needs a jazzy, simple boom bap kind of beat. And so that's an example of it working that way. Remember to Remember. That one actually started with the track.
You were saying. Yeah, sure.
And then I was kind of internalizing just the moods of that, and then just kind of writing stuff that fit that mood. So
cool.
Yeah, so it can happen both ways. For sure.
We do something called 5 questions, but with rappers, I like to get 6 questions in there because there's one I love.
Okay.
Road or studio?
Studio.
Lennon or McCartney?
McCartney.
Pac or Biggie?
That's tough.
That's the one I like throwing in for the hip hop guys.
I'm more of a fan of Biggie's music, but Pac as a personality, I think is figures pretty largely in hip hop. But as far as who am I going to throw on at home? Big.
Well, the lyrics are a little. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But
and I'm an East Coast dude.
From Toronto,
When it comes to hip hop, it's my sensibilities are pretty East Coast.
I heard you talking about regionality in hip hop and how it went away, and I find that very interesting, especially now that Twitter and Facebook and there's all this, everything's together now.
Yeah, and the way people hear music too, before regional influences were really big because that might be the only music you've heard.
Sure.
To a great extent. So now that's just not the case at all.
Does it matter?
No, I don't think so. The only thing that's unfortunate is people do lose some of the rich history of music where they come from. You know what I mean? Maybe is a potential downside, but music has always been about cross-pollination. It's always been about that, across cultures, across regions. So I don't want people to make too big a fuss of it. It's a good thing, and it's quite natural. It's always happened. It's just now it happens so much more. Yeah.
Cool. Back to the 5 questions. When you hear a song, what usually hits you first? Lyrics, melody, or rhythm?
That's a good question. I'd probably say melody.
If someone's never heard Shad before, what song do they start with?
Rose Garden.
I think that's my favorite track on TSOL.
Cool. Thanks.
And in one word, Shad.
Shad in one word. Good.
Good. I like that. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks.